Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to today's Acumatica community webinar. This is creation and usage of workflow in the workflow engine in Acumatica. We have Yuriy Zaletskyy here, the founder, CTO of AcuPower. And just a couple housekeeping items before Yuriy starts. We will be using the Q&A today for any questions you have, so go ahead and put those in there for Yuriy. We'll try to get to as many as possible. We are recording today's session, so we'll be up and available on the community shortly after the session today. In case you want to see it again, share it with others, please feel free to do so. And the last thing, at the end of the session, there is a quick poll just to see how we did. We really encourage you to leave your feedback. That helps us with for future sessions. And with that, I'm going to stop presenting and turn it over to you, Yuriy.
Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, I want to mention that I'm a developer, but when yesterday Christopher mentioned to me that there are 600 registrations, I want to ask, who are developers? If you can put in chat 1, and if you are not a developer, put in chat 0. So I can, as developers, chat is turned off. Okay, so then I would ask developers, raise your hands in order for me to know how many developers we have. Okay, I see 7, 10, 11, 10, 14, 16, 17. Okay, so developers, I'm very sorry, but you will be disappointed. It will be mostly about usage of workflows, not so much about programming. In the end, I will show some details, but just kind of disappointment notice for you. But feel free to stay, at least. And your questions will be appreciated. Okay, so what I'm going to demonstrate to you today, I'm going to demonstrate following functionality. How to, I will show an exact example of sales order workflow, how to achieve following. Let's say we have sales order. We will add to sales order specific state. Let me cherry pick item. I will set quantity 1. We will add one state. We will make some fields user to enter, and then information which user will fill in specific stage, they will be reflected at this section, customer order, and they will be reflected at description section. And I will show how to add dialog box. So how it look like. Let's say we have sales order. I will put it on hold status. And now take notice, like here we have interesting action, address and delivery. It is not the most creative, but now this address and delivery, it is in disabled state mode. I click on remove hold, and you see this address and delivery, which was initially blocked. It is now enabled. All other actions are disabled, and want to highlight that address and delivery is black. When I click on address and delivery, pop-up appears, and here support person, like general idea is that support personnel, he can call to customer Alta Ace and tell them, hey, tell me please what kind of delivery you want, how should I address you, Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Professor, and do you have in mind some specific customer number? And when customer says all of that information, customer support representative, he will fill this information, he clicks on OK, and you see here we have customer order number entered, and here we have in description delivery type entered and titles entered. And we see that now we can continue with our standard process, either create shipment or whatever. So how this functionality can be achieved? I'm going to unpublish my customization which have it, this functionality, and I will try to create or recreate this from scratch. I hope I will be able to do so, but keep in mind this is a real-time session. So in case if I will fail, I will show on already made customization, but I will do my best to make sure that it will work. And one more point, it may take some time. Although despite I have quite powerful computer, still it's not always easy. So we creating workflow engine demo, and we opening that customization package. And first of all, we need to, as everything starts in Acumatica, customize existing screen, and it was sales orders screen, which is a bit further, this one. And I'm opening that one. And all kind of activities with workflows, they are bound to this specific section, workflows. So I'm clicking here, and I'm going to extend SO workflow. Just a bit of patience. And I want to highlight interesting area here. Here we have two ways of looking on anything. We can look on tree view or diagram view. And let me switch to diagram view. So here we can see how everything look like, what transfers into what. And I want to share specific gotcha which I stepped once. I tried to add one more state. So you see, now we have a diagram view button enabled. And hold. And all of that is in read-only mode. If we want to have one more workflow, we need to click on Add Workflow, and I will cherry pick Extend System Workflow, and that is my kind of favorite. Extension of workflow, workflow type SO, and it will be sales order additional information. So I click on OK. And here we have SO can be, like if we have workflow type, only one workflow type can be enabled. That is something that Acumatica needs to know exclusively, like which workflow should be executed, either standard one or our custom one. So let's open this workflow, which we just extended. And I want to demonstrate interesting issue. Take note, diagram view button now is enabled. I'm going to add one state, and this diagram view will disappear. I hope I'll be able to do that. And let's say identifier. Let's say I don't know what identifiers are available, and I type A. And I type additional, and if I click on OK, I will get error message that such and such identifier is already exists. So no worries, just go with another character for your state identifier. it may be, sometimes it can be quite extensive. For example, if I go with B will be also busy. C also is kind of booked. So I will try with stage T. And I cherry pick current state and hold. And when I click on OK, you see diagram view button disappeared. Why it disappeared? Because we have on hold and we have nested states additional. So what kind of functionality Acumatica has? It is possible to have, let's say, stage on hold, but you can have multiple nested states, like additional 1, additional 2, additional 3, when in scope of on hold, states may be changed. It is very confusing to understand. I don't say you shouldn't use it or you should use it, but please be aware that button diagram view will disappear if you will have nested states. That is not my favorite feature, and I would like to hear later from all of you or any of you if you would like separate mentoring session on nested states, how they may work. I don't know anybody who uses them, but I play around with that as well. I'm going to delete this nested state. I will click on save. And you see button diagram view appeared. So basically, why diagram view button disappears if we have nested states? Basic idea is that it is quite hard to understand if in scope of on hold state, we have some nested states, how this diagram should look like. It is not impossible, yeah, but potentially Acumatica team may thought, okay, so somebody wants to have nested states similar like that in scope of this specific state, so kind of tree inside of the tree. It's not necessary that we want to have it or to allow such like visualization. Okay, I'm going to add one more state, and I will again use character T. I will tell this additional information. No parent state. I click on OK, and I'm getting an error message. I don't know if this is a bug in Acumatica or so, but in case of customization, if you used some identifier, like we used already identifier T, even if you delete the state, that identifier will remain as reserved. If I want to get rid of that, I will need to delete this specific customization and then add it, then it will be available. I don't know, is it a bug, is it a feature? Anyway, I'm going to use additional identifier W. I'm adding that additional identifier. And here I want to click on save. Then I'm going to switch to tree view. And what I want to achieve that when user here clicks on remove hold, then from stage on hold, sales order should be switched to additional information stage. User enters information like those 3 fields, then we switch to open status. That's what I want to achieve. And also we will need to have additional values entered. So let's go back to tree view and consider switching from. So here we have transitions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, when order is on hold, five stages. At diagram view, we have 3 stages. So I don't know why such difference exists, but anyway, let's go again here, remove hold open, and we want to modify from open. We should go to additional information stage. And by the way, Take note, although I deleted that nested state from here, still this nested state is still available here. Again, I have no idea why. And what I also want to highlight, here we have next and parent next. What is purpose of this next and parent next? Is basically switching to stages kind of automatic manner. So here I'm cherry picking additional information. I click on save. And now if we will go to diagram view, we see we have when user clicks on remove hold, we have additional information. Goes here. And let me go again to tree view. Now I want to add transition from here. Trigger name will be remove hold. So remove hold. I will not put any condition and target state will be open. Triggered by action. And for developers want to show how to meddle with this remove hold. As you see, release from hold. If you go to Acumatica and click on release from hold, if you have a website, you can see, and let's go to sales orders. It's quite a lot of this stage, but we are looking for sales order entry. Here we have action. This is like one of the ways is release from hold action. And target state open. And I click on OK. I click on save. Diagram view. Now we have, if we remove from hold, we have additional information. We move to open stage. I want to publish this and demonstrate how it works right now. This is kind of gradual development when you make something and then validate how it works. Now we go to sales orders page. A bit of patience. I will create another sales order. Select specific stock item. Entity. Now I click on hold. And I get error message. The flow was configured incorrectly. Please contact your system administrator. Great. I've broken something. That is basically not great. Remove hold. Let me check what I did wrong. It will be troubleshooting session. So additional information, transactions, remove hold, trigger name, remove hold, and that is fails if you sorry, wrong one. Remove hold, open. Target state. This one hold. Okay. And now remove hold, additional information. Edit state. Oh, I'm very sorry, but I cannot tell how to fix this, but I will continue with what I can show. So right now I'm going to add dialog box, and I'm going to cheat a bit in this dialog box. I have name for that delivery type, and we can have a couple of options. We can have couple of values. We can have a checkbox in our dialog. In my case, I demonstrated combo box, and for that I will give name standard, then combo box values we will have standard delivery. Second will be fast delivery. This one will be $30 days. This one will be 7 days, and ultra fast will be 2-3 days. So here we have a combo box, and now if I click on preview dialog box, we have this one. Now one more combo box will be, I will copy paste salutation, and here will be Mr. Miss Professor those values, and one more value. Now I want for customer, for people to enter this customer order number. How can I find it? Basically, schema field. I can filter those which contain SO order. And here I want to filter customer order number. So this one. And we will name it customer order number. It should be like that. Title. And now, how does this dialog box look like? Here we cherry pick standard, here we cherry pick combo box, and here we type customer order number. And what kind of activities here we can have? We can manage number of columns. Like right now we have one column, but we can have, let's say, 3. And if I do this, we have 1, second one, and third. Now let's modify here. We have combo box, which is kind of not nice. First one should be delivery type, second one will be salutation. So here title, delivery type, here will be salutation. And I want 1 column. Oh, by the way, let me show you what will be if we will have 2 columns. Preview dialog box, we have 2 values here and customer order number here. And since, try one more time with additional information, transitions, remote open, triggered. Let me try one more time to do this and diagram view. Here we can here on this like we want here we can configure what should happen when we move from additional information stage to open stage. Here we can put information what kind of fields should be updated, and I'm going to switch to what I already did, to previous customization. Just to show other details. It may take a bit of time while it will reload on my machine.
Yuri, there's a few questions in the Q&A maybe while we're waiting.
Okay. Yeah.
I can read them off for you.
Yeah, please.
Is there a list of add state identifiers?
You definitely can find them in C# code, but if you don't have C# code, you can find them in this way. Like, of course, in documentation. But another way to find those identifiers is this. Show in a second. When you click on stage itself, you can see identifier. So on hold has character A, H, credit hold has R, pending processing has E, awaiting payment A, open N, and so on. If you will decide to have nested stages, you will need to click through them as well. So choose for yourself which one is faster to find out, either documentation or just to click through all of them, but that's kind of up to you. Any other questions?
Next one, how can we modify the workflow to skip the on-hold state and start directly in a state of pending processing, for example?
If we want to skip on hold, so let's say we want to skip on hold, and what we want, which one from which we need to start?
They just said, and start directly in a state of pending processing, for example.
State of pending processing. I believe we can. Let me go to preview. It will require a bit of modifications. So basically, and I'm not sure if that's a good idea. It's like, you know, try on your own risk. Okay. Basically, you will need to delete transitions. Potentially, you can delete even stage. Like, you can delete state. I believe I will get error message because there are plenty of transitions. But let's say I deleted that. No errors. So basically, you hate some stage, just delete it.
Okay. And then just last quick question, are all states predefined or can we create custom states?
States predefined, but you can create your own. As you can see, I created additional state, delivery options, like diagram view, you know, like this one, delivery options state. I created this one.
Okay.
So
and that's it for the questions right now.
Yeah. Okay, and then did it saved? I break everything. What the hell? Oh my goodness. Okay. I deleted everything. I put myself into dangerous position. How to SO delivery. Diagram view. Okay. So what I want to show next here, I want to show edit this guy. And here I want to show what should happen when we move to target state open. And we have fields to update after transition. And I want to show here this formula. If you want to update some fields, you basically you can have here access to report designer, like concat. Then you say delivery type, C string, then what you have in your dialog, comma titles, what you have in your dialog, and you can even validate it, and you can even add some formulas. And for this field, we have basically another formula, what we get. And the way how to get value from dialog is basically delivery type. Like this name goes into like this name goes into that formula. And now let me go back here. I'll go to diagram view. Remove hold finger by action. Key. And now I'm going here. I'm just kind of forget what kind of checkbox I need to tick in order to trigger dialog. Finger name open. Basically, this one. Like what kind of want to highlight this section? Here we have connotation section, and you see here we have dark. What is this area about? It is about coloring of the button. Like right now we have dark. If we publish this stage, if we publish this customization, right now we don't have this additional stage. Starting the website. And after publishing, we have this understand delivery available. And let's refresh this guide. Let me close compilation panel. And now let me go here. Sorry, delivery options. And we have actions. So basically here we can configure, here in this section, we can configure what will happen with like how our button will look like. Like let's say I will replace dark with danger. And duplicating toolbar, I will remove this guy and take note how workflow will change. Or maybe I will leave this duplicating toolbar, it will be easier to monitor. So what I modified, I made connotation different. I will publish this one. I found dialog box. This section is responsible for appearing of dialog box. So here we create dialog box, and if we need dialog box to appear on some action, we configure it in this column. So I'm putting this on hold. And we have address and delivery. Now I click on remove hold. And you see now this address and delivery, it become red. So if you want to have some color coding, like something should attract attention, something should be not. But keep in mind standard Acumatica color coding. Green, it means safe or standard workflow. Red, it means some errors can be generated. I click on this address in delivery. Here we cherry picking standard delivery type, salutation, customer order number, click on OK. And boom, here we have added values. So again, this section dialog box, it helps to connect dialog boxes which you created here. And you can do that on your states which you want to have. So basically this state, here we can create multiple actions. Those multiple actions which we create here, they will be reflected. They will be reflected here. So you can have multiple actions. You can have multiple color codings for them. And that's all what I wanted to share today. We have even 15 minutes for additional questions.
Yeah, we've got some questions in the Q&A, and then if we have time, Reza has a question he wants to ask live. This one, Chantel asks, can you explain the difference between workflows at SO level where we have a workflow by SO type, but under bills and adjustments, we only have one workflow, and then how can we customize the workflow for a specific type? For example, for prepayment only.
So, can you put it in, can I see this question?
Yeah, click on, somehow? Can you see the Q&A and there you go.
Yeah.
And then just go down to Chantel, it's a little bit down.
Chantel, okay. Difference between workflows at SO level, where we have workflows by SO type, but under bills and adjustment, we only have one workflow. Then how can we customize the workflow for a specific type only for prepayment? Honestly, I believe you will need to do that with a bit of coding. Like if you want just for prepayment, you will need some C# code. Every Pretorius, what is difference between extending a workflow versus copying a workflow? The difference is, honestly, I read a couple of times definitions. I didn't understand the significant difference between both of them. I prefer extension of workflow, but it is mostly based on my habit dealing with endpoints. But there is no big difference between them, as far as I understand. I may be wrong on that. Is there documentation on event handlers that is not geared toward developers? For example, what is entity to apply workflow mean? As far as I know, you will need to educate yourself on kind of ubiquitous dictionary of Acumatica. And I know, like, I understand that entity to apply workflow, it may sound confusing, but basically you can replace in your mind entity to apply with word duck class, primary duck class of the header section. But that is something that for now my suggestion will be. Can you add validation to the state so that you cannot transition to the next state until condition is met? Yes. Yes, Luke Frey. Yes, it is possible to add validation to the state. How you can do that? Click on edit. And you see, here we have condition section, transition. So you click on, like, when transition from one stage to the other happens, basically on those arrows. So you click on this arrow, and here you have condition, which you can put. And if some condition is true, then transition will not happen. Kind of grain of salt. If you want to have some tricky condition, you will need assistance of developer. And for developers, I can say, let's say this is transfer. Moment is transfer. I will try to find quickly kind of how to is transfer order. I'm sorry, I cannot find it quickly, but basically conditions are managed here. There are some pretty extensive set of conditions, but if you want something which is not available here, there is Acumatica framework stuff which can help you to understand about them. Will you share example pack with us? Absolutely, yes. When will we be able to create conditions based on grid values? This is a great question to Acumatica team. I'm kind of user of Acumatica and developer for that, but I'd put it this way: if you want condition based on grid values, it is possible to do through customization mechanism. So if you need some specific based on grid values, I mean, we have when we speak about grid values, if you want condition based on this summary section, you can try. If you want to have condition, let's say, if like some state should be available if we have line description Acer laptop computer, this can be done through coding. I believe it is not answer which you were looking for, but I can tell you, I assume such kind of coding condition will be not very easy to configure. ISO approval is one of the steps. Can we assign in the setup by user or by role? Any best practices around the permissions of these users to consider before identifying them? I don't know. Tim, I'm sorry, Tim, but I don't know answer on this question. By the way, nice to see you. Like in customization level, I believe it is possible, but at configuration, I'm not sure. Can you show transition from additional info to open? Why did you use the remove from hold action rather than a new action? Main reason, like transition from additional info to open. Yes. From additional info to open. So this is transition. One more time. Yeah, so triggered by action, trigger name, description, and status. So this is how transition itself look like. Like this box is state, this arrow is transition. Second part of your question, why did you use the remove from hold action rather than a new action? In my mind, it looked logical to do that, but new action also possible. But again, that is more like, subjective. I thought, for me, it looked logical. What is the effect when updating build or version Acumatica if we extend workflow? It depends. Like, let's say you created a new state with character W, and Acumatica created as well state with character W. Then I believe you will not be able to publish your package because you will get error message. And in case if, for example, you created new state with letter W and Acumatica created a new version, then most probably it will not be like your customization should be published without any problem or issue. And what else may happen? If again it will be like during upgrade, let's say if your stage depends on credit hold and pending processing, and let's say in new release of Acumatica team decided to remove credit hold and pending processing, but your stage depends from both of them, then you will need to rethink your customization and basically your workflow. How do you want to fit it in within removed stage, because some transitions will be lost. So there is no clear answer what effect will be. It basically will mean how tightly integrated are your states and transitions into existing Acumatica workflows. And second, what kind of changes Acumatica team decides to introduce. As far as I know, Acumatica team is very conservative about what they introduce, but still sometimes they do revolutions. And Kavya, the conditions you just showed, are those predefined conditions or something that you created? Kavya, they are predefined conditions. We can create custom conditions from code, definitely. I'm not sure if we can come with, if we can configure them in Acumatica. But yeah, those predefined by Acumatica conditions. Okay. I do not see diagram view of workflow in my customization. Krunal, I mentioned in the beginning, of demonstration of session. If you have tree view, if you have nested state here, like let's say you have on hold state, and you have nested state, then diagram view button will disappear. Double check if you have some nested states. Potentially, if you have nested states, then diagram view button is disabled. And are custom actions and user-defined fields available in the workflow? Yes, they are. At least they were for me. And that's probably it. And I don't have any. Well, I have, but there is not enough time. And thank you for your time and your attention. Hope it was useful for you. Riza, you wanted to voice over your question?
Yeah, if you hear me. You hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So my question is, this is the status flow, basically, and not the really, the approval workflow also works in conjunction with the status flow in here. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but it injects right after when you remove a document from hold, it goes, pending approval status always goes after the hold status. I have seen in many areas in the code that it's hard coded that document has to be on hold when it goes through the pending approval process on approval workflow. So I'm not sure, is there any way that we can kind of move the approval workflow somewhere different than right after the hold status or not? Could I explain?
I believe I understand your question. Let me rephrase first of all. So we have approval workflow, and we have workflow engine workflow.
Yeah.
And you want to separate approval workflow from workflow engine workflow, correct?
I don't want to separate it, but you see, when you remove a document from hold, let's say one of the status it can have, it's pending approval, right? Inside the pending approval, you can have many, many loops inside the pending approval, depending on your approval and assignment map that you have. It can go to 10 different steps or can be one and gets approved, right? My question is, that pending approval status can be moved anywhere other than right after the on hold or not? Right after the hold status. Right now, I guess not possible, but just I'm going to asking here. So let's say you have 3 steps. It goes to, let's say in your case, you initiate the workflow. It goes to enter supplementary information status, then goes to supervisory review, and if it gets approved, then goes through the approval channel. So, but in Acumatica scenario, when you create a document and you remove it from hold, it's the time the documents goes through the assignment and approval map. I think we can't move the assignment and approval map anywhere other than right after the hold status. But just I want to asking here, can we do anything about it? Or is there any way to move the pending approval status somewhere after the hold status? If you share your screen, I can just quickly point it out on your screen. Yes, so if you show the diagram view.
Yes.
So you see, after on hold, you have a pending. There is the pending approvals.
We have pending processing. This is sales order workflow, not purchase order.
Okay, so you don't have it in here. So any document that you have assignment and approval map on that, your pending approval sits right after the on hold. Let's say you want to move this one, not after the on hold, you want to send it after the pending processing or pending payment, somewhere after that. Is it possible to move that pending approval, the assignment and approval workflow injection somewhere other than on hold?
Okay. You know, I can give you only my guess for now. If that is something you will be open to hear.
Of course.
But I can give you only my guess. So basically, like workflows engine, they have priority over the code. So let's say if code says make this in one way, but workflow engine says another thing, like let's say workflow says make this button disabled,
right?
But code says make this button enabled, then workflow will have priority and workflow will be executed.
But in the code, in that about 10,000 lines of codes of Acumatica related to the assignment and approval map, in many places, it is hard-coded. The document should be on hold, or when it's mapped, the engine is mapping using the generic reusable business logics. When they are mapping the document status to each other, it checks it has to be on hold, that the logic can be run, even though you overwrite on the status workflow in here, because the code is hard-coded and flagged not to be run. If it is not on hold, it's not approved, it's not this, then the code will be obsolete, right?
Yes. Or at least, you know, it should be.
Yeah, it should be, and it is. I guess I tried lots of things to make things move around. I couldn't make it work. I thought maybe someone or yourself maybe have done something about it.
Well, basically, this is pretty similar to what we have with automation flows, which were in the past. If automation flows says such button should be disabled, in row selected event, you wouldn't be able to make it available by all means. Only in the same workflow, they have priority over code. So just from, I would say, tearful experience, we've been in cases when our customers, they did something in workflow engine, they forget about it, and then they ask to modify us something from the code. We didn't thought about workflow engine. We tried to meddle with something with code. It doesn't work. And only after 3-4 days, we were able to figure out, okay, there is there is workflow. So workflow has priority over code, and as a developer, I don't like that. But that's idea.
Yeah, I understood. Thank you very much for explanation. But anyways, it's not going to run that blocks of code when it is hard-coded based on the condition, even though status workflow, this diagram flow, has priority over the code. That code becomes obsolete, basically. It won't run it.
Even if it will run it, it will not give you any benefit.
Yeah.
Because if there is a conflict, let's say, like if to give an analogy, if you ride on the street and there is police with, these sirens, they should have priority, and then you can run. But if it will be conflict, who should go fast? Police should go fast, and then you can go.
Yeah. So I know it's not a question to you, and so I'm not pointing at you, but the ideal situation would be so that you can move that block of assignment and approval related workflow statuses to anywhere in the status workflow, and the system would understand what is the predecessor, what is the successor of the states, and pass it to the workflow, but it's not developed that way. It's hard-coded, unfortunately.
Yep.
Okay,
right,
thank
guys.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Yuri. We're definitely past here, and folks who stayed on, thank you for staying on and listening to the rest of the conversation. Again, the recording will be up on the community site. Thank you again, Yuri, for all your time today and expertise. And folks, do take the poll before you leave today. Again, thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you.
And we'll
Great
see you
as
at the
always.
next webcast. Thanks, Risa.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.